Welcome back to ML Miller Frights, part of the Kings of Horror Network. This is ML Miller. I've got another gaggle of indie horror to plow through this week. Tweak that logo up above again. It's really pulling the room together. This week's dive into movies made outside of the mainstream offers up witches, witch doctors, mad mercs, bad pooches, and eerie sounds from outer space. Let's get into it. The first three movies that I take a look at this week are all available on digital download and on demand. First up is The Candy Witch. It's set up to be pretty much like your typical slasher film, with a slightly paranormal slant. This isn't a good film by a long shot. It's cast with extremely good-looking actors, which is something that always takes me out of a movie. They look like they should be walking down a runway rather than walking around in the dark. A pair of very polished paranormal investigators are called to get rid of a ghost that's been haunting a home for decades. The investigators, who look like Daryl Hannah, circa Splash, and Derek Zoolander, are on the case. What unfolds is an overly complex plot that really doesn't know what side to take. The ghost is supposed to be benevolent, but has a very tragic past, but she still viciously murders people. The family attests to not believing in the paranormal, but wholly goes with Zoolander and Splash's investigation in hopes to get rid of it. The deaths are uninspired. The witch is as well, as she just looks like she's got some mung on her face. I just couldn't get a beat on what this film wanted to accomplish, and the abrupt and nonsensical ending doesn't seem to know either. Aside from the naming of characters after candy bars, this one is bereft of fun or scary ideas. Black Ops has had a few names that it's been marketed with through the years. It's been called The Ascent and Stairs, but what it really is just an extended version of a Twilight Zone episode. But I don't think it has the legs to make it to a full feature length. A special forces unit has an operation go south, which results in the murder of a hostage. When the troop go home to report to their superiors, they begin climbing a staircase that seems to go on without end. If they try to go back down, they're overwhelmed by unseen forces. As the tough guys and gals gruffly try to figure out what's going on, they have difficulty taking on a problem they can't just shoot. It's fun to see these military types go against the supernatural and see their very concrete thinking go up against an illogical hurdle. I like the way this one is lit, as every scene is bathed in blues or reds or greens. It really gives an otherworldly feel to this movie. There are definitely scenes that feel drawn out and repetitive, and there are a few too many soldiers in this troop to really care about all of them. But this is a fun mix of action and horror, and I mildly recommend it as a solid time waster. South Africa's tribal folklore is explored in The Soul Collector. It's about a weary wanderer carrying a large leather bag who happens across a farm that he used to work at. The family has recently moved to the farm in order to start over after a bankruptcy in the city, and the daughter immediately takes a liking to the old man, named Lazarus, played by Shamano Sibi. The family reluctantly takes the man in, as the farm does have a lot of work needed to be done. But the wife is leery of him, his mysterious ways, and the odd bag he never lets out of his sight. It turns out that the man is cursed to carry around a monster in the bag, and has to feed it souls from time to time. Seeing the vibrancy in the little girl's soul, the monster wants her for her next meal. But Lazarus is torn between his sworn duty to the monster and his own affection towards the girl. This is a tragic and heartfelt little fable that is rich with South African culture. It plays out rather slowly, but all of that time getting to know the characters really pays off by the time the climactic ending is reached. Those looking for strong international horror should be on the lookout for this one. Hulu and Blumhouse's Into the Dark series has been very hit and miss for me. Most of the time the films feel rushed, overly reliant on social issues rather than scares, and either not having enough ideas to meet the feature length or not having the budget to fully accomplish what it is trying to say. Their last installment in the monthly feature film series is Good Boy. It's about a lonely woman, played by Judy Greer, who takes in an emotional support animal when the rest of her life feels like it's going nowhere. Greer, as usual, is utterly likable and really gives her all in this character. You really believe in her plight and sympathize with her well-realized predicament. The pup she gets, named Reuben, is also quite adorable. But while most support animals provide something to cuddle when times get tough, Reuben tends to take a more proactive approach of support by murdering any person who stresses its owner out. In love with her dog, Greer's character does her best to cover up her loving dog's murders. It all plays out in a warmly comical fashion. It's hard to find something not to like with Good Boy. It's a lighthearted horror comedy, but one that isn't afraid to get down and dirty with some very messy blood and gore scenes. It's also got some very fun supporting roles by Maria Conchita Alonso, Scott Pilgrim's Knives, aka Ellen Wong, and Steve Mothergrabbin Gutenberg. Directed by Tragedy Girls and Patchwork's Tyler McIntyre, Good Boy is one of the better Into the Dark offerings. Finally, if there's one movie to watch out for in this grouping, be on the alert for The Vast of Night, which is playing exclusively on Amazon Prime. The film is low budget, but filled with big budget thrills, as director Andrew Patterson focuses mainly on the script, giving his characters a chance to build an entire world revolving around the small town through simple conversation. Set in 1950s New Mexico, the story focuses on a sort of flirty mentor-student relationship between telephone operator Faye, played by Sierra McCormick, and radio DJ Everett, played by Jake Horowitz. These two stumble into a conspiracy about the military, strange sounds across the airwaves, and a possible UFO cover-up. While the rest of the town is at the big basketball game, it's up to Faye and Everett to investigate the mystery. Patterson uses long extended takes, following McCormick and Horowitz across the small city streets and to their respective workplaces at the radio station and phone switchboard. There are scenes that are simple storytelling, as if this were a radio show, but Patterson and his actors make every word count, revealing character and emotional connections between the two, and a government conspiracy that threatens them all. This is a star-making role for the spunky Sierra McCormick, as she dazzles behind her horn-rimmed glasses. Patterson has made a charming little UFO conspiracy story, and waits till the end to dazzle with some well-done special effects. I can't wait to see what Patterson is up to next. He's a real find. This film is brimming with ideas and able to sustain interest with nothing more than conversation. It's just a wonderful little film filled with charm and innocence that you don't see much of in genre movies these days. That'll be it for this week's Low Budget Binge on ML Miller Frights. If you dug this video, hit the like button. Share it with all of your friends across social media. Be sure to visit ML Miller Writes for written reviews, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and hit the bell for notifications so you know when my next video hits. Thanks so much for watching, and take care.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're doomed. Oh, you're doomed. You're doomed. You're doomed. Live the life that you are meant to be. Live inside that